So Fresno State just had its pro day, and I'm going to give you the rundown of how the players did and who NFL teams have been attended. It's been a while since Fresno State had a player drafted. I thought Magdalena or Jalen Cropper would have a shot based on hands, route running, and so forth. But the last Bulldog to get drafted officially was Jake Haener. He's in the league now. He's with Kansas City. He's obviously not going to start, which is kind of what you'd expect. He's just not built for it to be a starting NFL quarterback. Before I go over how they did let me tell you who I think could get drafted. All right, and drafted is you don't need to be drafted necessarily again in the NFL. If you're an undrafted free agent, you still have a chance. Dean Clark, Magdalena played as undrafted free agents. Ronnie Rivers has. But I think Azilian Hamilton is a guy who's got the best shot. I think that maybe Spolmer can get in there just because offensive linemen are always drafted high. Maybe Corey Foreman because of his measurements. But I think those are the only three guys who we have the best opportunity to get drafted. Now, let me list the teams of who, based on media reports, that were there. Not offered to there was about 16. And they were the Arizona Cardinals, Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Raiders, Rams, Dolphins, Giants, Eagles, 49ers, Seahawks, and the Redskins. All right. So, let me give you a quick rundown of how everybody did. Oh, I also want to mention this. Dylan Lynch performed for scouts, but according to what I've read, he did not compete in the drills. Hamilton, as I mentioned earlier, he had what looks like the best time. He ran a 4.5 in the 4-yard dash and a 6.99 time in the free cone drill. That's exactly what you want. His final results were based on vertical 43, the broad 910, bench 4, 10 149, shuttle 426, cone 699. So he had a very impressive day showing what he can do. Linebacker Jaden Pearson ran 4.55 time in a 40-yard dash. That's one of the fastest that I've seen from any Bulldog. And I think only like 5 maybe linebackers are fast at the combine, so that's pretty helps. His vertical is 34.5, 10 broad jumps, bench 20. Spolmer looks like he had a very good day based on what I've seen on the every category as far as linemen go. That's one reason why I think he might get drafted. His broad jump is 9.5, bench reps 28, 40-yard dash 5.6, and that all would have been the upper results in the combine. Only one lineman at the Indianapolis ran a faster 3-point time, and only 2 faster than the shuttle. So again, that's one reason why I think he could still get drafted. Now, when I say drafted, I'm not saying in the top 3 rounds. I'm thinking like last day drafted. But that's still better than nothing. If you're drafted, you're pretty much guaranteed a roster spot. That's like getting pretty much a letter of intent. The fastest Bulldog and the 10-minute split was Embry. Jakari Embry, timed up 1.5 seconds. His 40-yard dash is 4.47. His free cone was 7.2. I don't think he's going to get drafted based on here. Cameron Braca, he probably has a future as an undrafted free agent or maybe in the football league. Solid day overall. 33 vertical, time in the 40, 4.60. He was behind Hamilton's free cone score and dash. That's running around the cones. 7 seconds flat. Bench press, Foreman really showed off his strength for 29 reps as an edge rusher, vertical 29, broad 93, 4.8. Yeah, another guy, Michael Jordan Jr. He's probably not going to get anywhere. Vertical 24.9. So forth. Just let me give you some other guys real quick because this is going to take a while if I keep going through it. EJ Warner, I'll go for him. He's not going to go anywhere. Maybe someone, I don't know, like the USFL Indoor Football League drafts him, but his vertical was 3.5, broad 9, didn't do a bench. Shovel, so forth. Arsenal, another guy, I don't think he's going to get anywhere. 32.5 vertical, cone 7.20, bench 14. Elijah Gilliam, maybe can be a fullback somewhere. Vertical 35. Time was in the 40 was about shoot, what was it around here? 40 was it's kind of hard to get some of these. Yeah, 4.49. Jerome Brown, now obviously he's not going to go anywhere. No, we'll talk about him. Beecham is really athletic, so he might end up on special teamers. His 40 was 5 seconds, shuttle 4.84, cone 7.35, 27 vertical. So again, if you want someone who wants to get drafted, a really good way to do that is your athleticism, and you want to try and make it into the special teams. That's really the best way if you want to go make the draft. If you can do that, it's kind of like if you're play multiple positions in baseball, like Tommy Hoppy did. If you can do more than one thing, especially if you're a lower end pick. So if you want to see. I mean, that's just the bottom line is I don't... I mean, maybe Claypool's gotten their shot, but I think that we only have, like I said, 3 shots to really have any chance of getting drafted. Foreman, he's got the length, and he's got the recruiting pedigree. If he was at USC... I think he would get drafted just because of the competition they play. Like the NFL scouts, for whatever stupid reason, say, "Oh, who you play matters." Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of hit misses and a lot of head scratching moves you see every year. I mean, they drafted Anthony Richardson in the first round, so it's not so much again about what you've done on the field. It's often about who you played, how you looked against them, and so forth. So. I've gone down the rundowns that I think really matter. We'll find out next month in April who gets drafted, if anybody does. But again, like I said, I thought guys will get drafted that didn't. So my predictions the last few years is not particularly good. There was a time when Fresno State was a NFL draft factory. Pat Hill's teams usually had at least one guy go, but it hasn't been the case for a few years. Part of that you could say is NIL and transfer portal. And, that is what it is, but... again, and if you're a kicker like Lynch, I mean, he won't get drafted. Kickers don't get drafted, but I'm sure he'll get a shot somewhere. I mean, we've seen no shortage of just players, excuse me, that's a cat right there, of kickers who, it's a position you're easily replaced. So if you're Dylan Lynch, you got a shot. And so that's really what it comes down to right now. It's we'll see how it goes. The draft is actually around the same weekend that Fresno State's having their spring preview, or spring showcase game. So when the time the Bulldogs get drafted, per se, we're not going to be there live to see it. But maybe on the radio they will say it live. I'm not sure. And I also want to give a quick recap to the Bulldogs, the former Bulldog players who were there to support them as well, because one thing Fresno State does very good is having alumni come back to support players at events like this. And I'm just going to say this right now. I do not like that Evan Williams is allowed back. I do not like that at all. As far as I'm concerned, he's a traitor. I don't think that a guy like him should be allowed. He's not someone who's coach transferred. He just turned traitor when he knew he was going to be a starter. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't know whether or not, that means he should be allowed. See if I can find here. I had it, let's see. Yeah, Juju Hughes was there. Jalen Cropper was there. Ronnie Rivers was there. So a lot of Bulldogs coming out to support their brothers. Again, I don't... If Williams is there to support them as a friend, that's kind of different than being there as a former Bulldog. To me, he completely threw that away. Should not be allowed there, but what else can you do? Seems like he's what can you do? I mean, I don't think he should be allowed. I mean, he was there last year, but is what it is. We'll find out what happens later. Draft day's done. I mean, it's coming up. See what happens. Go Dogs.